Welcome to Rivals on the Pitch. Out with the old, in with the new, part 2. Hopefully you guys tuned into last episode where we reviewed the first 10 kits. We also found out that if Randy and Pat tell you have a nice shirt, you have an ugly shirt. For this episode, we're going to do the remaining 10 transfer windows before the season starts. And then finally, week 1, we'll be doing some predictions and get into a little prediction game. And hopefully you guys comment what you guys think. I'm Alan. I'm here, Spurs fan. I'm here with Pat.
Hey.
And with Randy.
Good to be back, guys.
All right, let's get into it.
By the time this episode drops, we will be one sleep away from the start of the Premier League, with Manchester United opening it up against Fulham on Friday, August 16th, 3 p.m. Be there or be square. How excited are you guys?
I'm excited. It's been a while. I mean, it was good to have a lot of football this summer, but to get back to the season, this is what it matters. And
I'm excited too. I think last season, especially for me, I think it left me wanting more. It's been a long off season. Just been itching to get those games started. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, being an Arsenal fan, I think for the last 2 years, we've been left feeling like we deserve more. And I know you deserve what you end up with, right? Arsenal, at the end of the day, did not deserve to win the league because you deserve to win it by putting the points up on the board. Hopefully, we'll have another good shot at it this season, and who knows what we end up with. Just to get this started, and this way we could leave the fun predictions to the end. I figured we could pick up with the jerseys right away. You guys good with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's finish what we started.
Here we go. The first one of the day. It is Crystal Palace at home. Da.
I put that thing you call a jersey at 19. I do not like it at all. It's just really weird. I don't know. It's got like that Dragon Ball Z vibes. Like it's Super Saiyan, types things. It just looks real bad to me. Don't even think it's a jersey. I feel like it's something you find like at an anime convention or something. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. Maybe I should have put it at 20, but you know what? Change it. 20. It's 20. It's the last one.
Okay, that's strong feelings.
I want to like it. I think they tried something different. Just the execution wasn't there for me. I think it's the design the print that they used. It looks like a bad Hawaiian shirt. It looks
Yes,
like tribal bands.
Yeah. That's the words.
I give them credit that they tried something different, right? I wish it would have came out differently, but I do applaud the fact that they tried it. Unfortunately, it is 20 on my list, and I need Spurs to go ahead and go sign Eze so he doesn't have to get seen in this ugly jersey.
Yeah, I think I said it in last week's episode. I think I'd rather have an ugly jersey than a boring old plain one. I rated Manchester City's plain kit at 20th, so if I had to choose between this and that, I think I would still go with this because it is kind of ridiculous, at least as a conversation starter. But it is 17th on my list. I think, like Randy mentioned, the eagle wings kind of look like Goku's hair. They also did a different thing to kind of split the colors down the middle. And it goes to the shorts too. It's way too much. I'm sure from afar on TV it'll look just fine.
Yeah.
But up close, man, it is. I agree. I'm glad they tried something different. But from what it looks like, this is an anniversary jersey, founded in 1924, Selhurst Park, 2024 anniversary kit, and they just they could have gone more clean, more classic for something like this.
I think so too. I think just having the two patterns, it almost looks like they clash too much.
Absolutely. All right. You guys ready for the next one?
Let's go.
Next one is, drum roll, Southampton.
Southampton.
Well,
Well, for me, Southampton, it's like Newcastle. You know what you're going to get with them. The same colors, same design, nothing special. So I put it at a 14. I'm just not maybe a big fan of that roll bit. It's like every other Southampton. The same design, same pattern, nothing special, which is why I put it at a 14.
I actually gave this one 16th. It's just too plain. It's almost like they didn't try. I don't know if it's the stripes, just the size of the stripes. It's just there.
Maybe they're just getting ready to go back to relegation, so they're not putting that much money into those jerseys.
They spent the money on trying to stay up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you mentioned looking like a referee in the last episode, even though this is white and red, this is the vibes I get. It's like too many stripes, and it kind of reminds me of that Mexican team,
Chivas?
Chivas. Yeah, it just in last year's kits wasn't any better in my opinion, but I think I would rather rock that one. It's kind of split, still striped, but split down the middle, opposing sleeve colors, nice little V-neck. And this one is just man, it is Puma, and I do hate Puma kits, and this is why 18th for me. All right, let's move on to the next one. So drum roll, please. Chelsea. Chelsea.
Woohoo!
Chelsea. Chelsea.
I put Chelsea at 20, but seeing Crystal Palace, I switched it. Chelsea's at a 19 for me. I loved their last season. It was plain and simple, but it just stood out. This one is like a tie-dye shirts, trying to look like waves of the ocean. I'm not digging it. I like the logo, I like the Nike and everything, but it's just that like tie-dye type feeling just really ruins it for me. I'd put it at a 19.
Yeah, same 19th for me. As a third jersey, I would be like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
can see that.
But when you have the shirt and shorts combo, it makes it even worse. And I don't like the whole marble whatever design they put into it. Last season's was nice.
I think that was like number one if we were doing a ranking. I really love that one.
I did too. And I think this is a downgrade. And then, like I said, when you look at the whole kit with the shorts included, it just looks a little ridiculous to me. I can't wait to see them losing it because they're going to look like clowns.
I agree. If you looked at the promo pictures, they kind of looked like they're in this like blue firelit, and I think the concept was there. It was a cool idea, but when you see the jersey just plain, like you imagine someone wearing it, it loses that effect. And again, credit for trying something different,
Right.
considering it is a plain blue shirt. The red around the Nike logo and the Chelsea crest, I think, give it a nice little spark. I think the idea is there. It's just not executed perfectly. I also agree. I think with the shorts, it kind of kills it. I think they could have gone with just a plain blue short. It would have made it better.
Or maybe white shorts, but still might.
Yeah, it's definitely been outshadowed by last season's kit. So can we assume, Randy, that you're not going to be getting a Caicedo jersey in this?
Not in this one. Let's see the away one and maybe the third kit.
So you would wear an opponent jersey, Randy, as long because
No, I wouldn't wear it. It would be on my wall where,
just a collector's item.
Yeah, just because,
He plays for
it's
Ecuador.
as an Ecuadorian to see someone on a good team like that, it's something to be proud of. But I wouldn't wear it. Red all day.
I would never, ever buy a Luis Diaz Liverpool jersey. Never, ever.
Is it something to do, Alan, with being a direct rival for maybe a top 4, top 6 spot?
If it was, let's say he played for a championship team or Bundesliga or League One or Serie A, I would get it, even, whoever team it was. But if you're in a direct competition, I don't know. I just can't do it, especially since he's like with Luis Diaz being Colombian. I would just get the Colombian jersey and then
That's true. Yeah.
and root for his downfall in the Premier League. But
As a Chilean, we have Ben and Diaz, who just signed for Southampton. I think since Southampton isn't necessarily a threat to Arsenal, unless it is obviously match day against Southampton, then I would rock a jersey with that name on it. However, I don't think I would go out of my way to buy it. You know what I mean? But I would wear it. I don't think I would hesitate.
what if he was on Aston Villa?
No, because Aston Villa is a big team. They do have European success, and I think now, especially now, they're a direct rival of everyone in the top 6. So no, definitely not.
Even if it's cheap, I wouldn't pay full price for this, a Chelsea Caicedo shirt, but if it's like in the thrift shopping, if it's in a bin, why not? I'm not paying full price, but at least something.
Yeah, I mean, I might. if that's the case, I do also enjoy collecting this kind of memorabilia. But I think that's an exception. You know what I mean?
If people don't have to know though. Just keep it in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
or
you go.
sell it.
Why not? Make money.
But yeah, so sorry. Back to Chelsea here. I put them at 14th. Not the worst jersey. I don't think. All right, you guys ready for the next one?
Of course, let's keep it going.
We are going to go Aston Villa.
I'm not a big fan of it, but I do like, it's somewhat taking a little bit of a risk or, trying something new. I did put it at a 12. It's still a little plain, little simple, but I can see that they were trying to do something a little different. I just don't have much to say about it. That's why I feel like that's reasonable for me, just in the middle. But I don't see anything special or anything that says wow. So, for me, it's at 12.
I like that Adidas took over. I actually have a little bit higher than Randy. I have them at 6. To me, like it's kind of what we had mentioned about West Ham. It's these color combos. You can't tell if you're looking at West Ham, Aston Villa, or Burnley. But I do like how the two stripes kind of collide, and they're not the same stripes; they're different stripes. I think that gives it a little bit more of a, I don't know, like something different, a different feature. I like it. To me, it's like I said, you can't do much with these two colors. They always tend to stick to a very similar pattern, and you can't fault them for that. You want to be able to for someone to distinguish who you are, and I like it. It's clean. I give it a 6.
I placed this one at 2, and to be honest with you, I can also swap this one with the Newcastle jersey to be 1 and 2. I think you're right. There are a couple of teams that use the same color scheme, but these go back to over a century. So I think they did really really well with it. Adidas knocked it out of the park. The Adidas logo, the Aston Villa crest are nice and big and present. The stripes on the side, and even the sponsor on the front, it kind of gives it that South American vibe while still being classic. I think in comparison to West Ham, this is going simple, but at the same time going bold. You know what I mean? I think it looks good. They, like you mentioned, the stripes on the collar, a little bit different than the stripes on the shoulder. The sleeve doesn't cut off at the shoulder; it goes kind of to the top and just gives it that classic Adidas look, but still, keeping it simple but not safe. I think this is much better than the West Ham, and I can't exactly pinpoint why, but it is my number 2.
Don't ever dress anybody.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I think that's too high for them.
All right, next kid, Brentford.
Oh, Brentford.
I put them at a 15. Typical Brentford, but I'm just not a big fan of that, like that shading or fading from the red to the black on the bottom. I just think that's not my style. That's not what I like. Just keep it red all the way. You have the black. Why try to do like that fading? It's a typical Brentford jersey. It just doesn't do it for me, honestly.
It's surprising because the reason you put Southampton so low, and they try something, but you put them low. I originally had it second, but I moved them down to third. I really enjoy this jersey. I think they could have gone simple with red and white, with a black collar and look just like Southampton. But I think adding the black to the underarms or the side of the arms, and then with the fading, seeing this jersey, like, especially on their Instagram pages with the players wearing them, I actually really enjoy this jersey. I like what they did. Maybe a little less shading for the black at the bottom, but I like how the accents of black, how they added it to this jersey, and they just made it pop to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the worst kit. I think this is better than the Southampton one. Similar to the Newcastle one, you got big, bold stripes going down. I think they did well to put the black on the sleeves as well because it just makes it a little, adds a little bit of the contrast from that white at the edge of the jersey to the sleeve. The collar is like a crew neck, but it kind of looks like a V neck. Simple, but different. The umbro that's on the chest here is nice black and the black border around the Brentford crest. And it's a nice little touch to add the B on the back of the jersey. I wish it was embroidered and not an iron-on patch, similar to Puma. They don't put that kind of care on their jerseys as much, but it looks cool. So it's gonna fade to black, to the black shorts. I think it's a nice little fade in. Yeah, it looks cool, and I put this at number 7.
I like it. I do.
All right, next one. We ready?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Now we are moving all the way to the top of the league.
And all the way to the bottom of my list.
Arsenal.
Arsenal.
Arsenal. Arsenal.
I put Arsenal at a 6. You can't go wrong with those colors, red and white. I think I liked last year's better. I was just not a big fan of like that almost like that Coke bottle feel to it. But it's a nice clean jersey. The logo sticks out. It's nice though. I don't have that much bad to say about it. It's nice. It's clean. It works. But yeah, I put it at a 6.
Yeah, I wanted to hate this jersey so much. And at first I did. At first I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's hideous. I wasn't a big fan of that blue. Like that blue and that red, like you had mentioned before, blue and red together. I'm not a big fan of those two colors together. I like the shade of blue they picked. I like the badge, the minimalist badge that Adidas is going with. But like we had mentioned earlier, I think Adidas, this layout that they had for this season, you saw that a lot in Copa America with all those teams and the Euros. Like it's just, I don't like this Adidas layout, and I don't think it does any favors to the Arsenal jersey. I had this at 8th, but like I said, I think it's a lot to do with the Adidas layout. It's just the way it goes into the neck, how it rounds off. Not so much when the player's wearing it, but when it's just there. It's not bad though, but I give it an 8.
Not the best.
Yeah. I think, like Randy said, I think last year's was actually really nice. And it's a little bit of a downfall.
So I have placed this at number 3.
Of course.
And you're talking about me and my Liverpool.
Listen, I'll say this. I originally did not like it, but after seeing the players wear it, I did like it much, much more. The long sleeve looks phenomenal. Kind of breaks up the stripes. I don't love like that Coca-Cola shape, but when you're wearing it, it doesn't look that way. I think it looks much better with the shorts. I think I agree with Alan. It was not as creative to go with that simple layout, but they still changed it up a little bit. I also think this is not as good as last year's kit with the gold. I think last year's kit was phenomenal, and you could have changed that gold for like a silver or a gray or the blue, and it would have been better than this one. The Adidas logo, the crests are nice and big, and they did go with this simplistic look with just going with the cannon. I think that looks super cool. And I think, like I said, the blue's not overused, and it doesn't look like an American 4th of July Old Navy shirt. So that's hard to pull off when you use red, white, and blue. So I enjoyed what they did with it. Like I said, the cannon, the big crest, pulling off the red, white, and blue well, and then with the shorts, I think it looks nice and clean and very Arsenal. I know it'll look super nice with the Golden Premier League Champions crest at the end of the season. So
It's bottom of the table.
all right, next one, which is
Wolves.
yep, Wolves.
That's the thing. Like Wolves, they always do the same. I'm not a big fan of yellow, but I mean the Wolves yellow. I like their jersey. I think it's really clean. It's nice. I like that the logo is in the middle. Your eyes drawn to it. You can't go wrong. It's simple, clean. I think it works. I think it's they're playing it safe. Went well. Like the little black on the edges, on the neck, and on the arms. I think it works really well. I like it. I put it at an 8.
I like it too. I have Austin Villa at 6, Arsenal at 8, and I actually put this one at 7. But I feel like all three of those are kind of interchangeable. I liked how they centered the logo. I always liked the Wolves, their version of the yellow that they use for their badge and kits.
It's like a mustard.
Yeah, and with the black, it actually goes really well. I like the neck and the sleeve bands. I wish that logo was a little bit bigger, but I like it. I think everything works together, and they kept it simple. And I think the little pattern within the shirt, the stripes, they make it the fabric. I guess it just makes it look nice.
I put this at 10. I think it looks cool. Like you said, I like the color. I also like the texture of the shirt. I think it gives it a little bit depth into the design. I don't love the colors of the advertisement, and I think you can't do much about that, but it just gives me Colombian vibes. And not that I hate Colombia by any means, but
Wow.
it just makes it a different shirt. It was bold to go with the logo right in the middle, especially that since the maker of the jerseys to the left, I think they could have put that right above or right below the logo. It gives it a little bit of like an off center vibe, and But who knows? I do like the shorts with it. They kind of incorporated that yellow in a different kind of fabric into the shorts, so it looks good. It's nice and simple. The collar and the sleeves, I think they don't do much for me, but they have to be there. Otherwise, it would be way, way, way too simple. So, yeah, 10th for me.
Yeah, I like how that wolf kind of just sits there in the center and kind of stares at you.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
I put Bournemouth at a 9. It's clean. It's like it's black and red. I do like the little gold stripes that they have between the red and the black that separates them, and then how like the outline of the logo and the sponsors are all gold. I just think it pops. It makes it look so much more brighter. It catches your. It's not just a black and red. I like those little details into it. I just like it honestly. It looks good. It has like that almost like that little shine to it, sheen, gloss. I'm a fan of it honestly. Like Pat said, he can wear like that Newcastle. I feel like I can wear this jersey. It's just to hang out. Like to go out to a pub or something like that. Wear this jersey out in public. I think it'd be fine. What did I say? I think I put it at a 9.
So this one, you know what this one reminds me of? Good old Metro Stars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I actually put this as my number one jersey of the season. Number one kit.
Wow.
This was 1A and Brighton was 1B. Those are interchangeable. The gold trim, the gold logo, the black neck with the red sleeves, just alternating those colors. I don't know. They had a lot of detail go into this, and I enjoy it. It's not just black and red. Adding that gold in the way they added the gold was nice. I enjoy it. I like it.
Well, now I feel bad because I'm looking at it and you guys are convincing me that it's not the worst shirt ever. But I put this jersey at number 15th. I think it's.
What?
I just, you know what? Red and black are such strong colors that I feel like adding the gold is just, it's getting a little over the top. And they probably deserve to be in a better ranking, but there are also other, 19 other jerseys. So unfortunately, the others kind of pushed it down a little bit. But yeah, the gold with the black and red, I think it's a little bit too much. Umro did all right though. The opposing color on the sleeves and the neck are great. The logo on the shoulder, I feel like it's a little dull, and I know they can't do anything about that, but I don't know. It's just a jersey. It doesn't necessarily call my attention, and it just gives me championship vibes. And while that's cool and all, they could have gone a little cooler with it, and I just there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think if the gold was changed for maybe a white, I think that would have looked better. So with that, it's pushed all the way down to 15th.
I would say the white would look, to me, it would, solidify it as number one, but I don't know. I like it.
And what's next on the list? Oh, these guys.
Manchester United.
I did put them like at a 13. To be honest, this is a better upgrade than last year's. They changed. I like the logo. I like how it is. The white font and everything like that. I think it's really nice. It's just I feel like I expected maybe more from Manchester United, but I did rank it in the middle. It's like I said, it's playing it safe in my opinion as well. So I did rank it at a 13.
I actually gave this one 18th. It's just underwhelming. Like you said, for such a big club, it looks like a training kit, especially the short sleeves. To me, it looks like a training kit. I think it's going to go well with the season they're going to have. So, and then just that sponsorship in the middle. I don't like it. I was expecting more. I was a big fan of their green and white one that everybody hated. Like I said, looks like middle of the table team, and that's what I think they're going to be.
Bold statement. Gotta say, I agree. I have this one at 13th. Like you said, it's underwhelming. I feel like there's a little bit too much going on in comparison because they do use a similar template to the Arsenal jersey, but in comparison, they use the red on the side of the jersey, on the shoulder, and then on the front of the shirt, it's a different kind of red, and then the stripe is like an orangey kind of red, but then the center panel kind of fades into black, but the shorts are in black. It's just like what they could they not decide on a single red to use for the jersey? It's way too much. Yeah, the sponsor on the front is just it just doesn't give me vibes of like that classic Manchester United jersey. You know, they've been just like Real Madrid. The sponsor almost kind of makes it a classic team to know. You see the logo and you can kind of picture the team. And with this one, I think it's just forgettable. Yeah, that's all I could say. Indecisive. Sorry. All right, so let's move on to our last jersey of the 2024-2025 season. With that, we will give a nice warm welcome back to Chat Shit Get Banged, Leicester City.
Look who's back. Back again. Leicester City, I put it at a 7. I think it's a different shade of blue compared to what it is, or maybe I'm just mistaken, but it's a clean kit. But I don't know, I feel like it works a lot. I like that the gold around the neck. It looks real clean. Like I could see myself wearing this as well. I feel like this is what Chelsea should have been like. Leicester's did it. I think they did it right. It looks good. I like this one a lot. So that's my ranking on Leicester. I think they did a good job with this one, especially for coming back to the Premier League. It's a good showing.
Yeah, I actually have them right in the middle as 11th. It's simple. I like the dark, the Adidas pattern on the side where it gets a little bit darker stripe. The yellow on the collar kind of plays with the badge. The little sponsorship's a little big for me. It kind of takes away from all that, but it's simple. It's not. They're not trying to make a bold statement, returning back into the Premier League. But to me, this one and Everton were kind of in the same boat. But I think Everton just kind of beat them. Yeah, 11th.
I have kind of like a contradicting opinion on this, but I'll explain. So I put this down at 19th. I think it's a nice jersey. It's much better than Manchester United's undecisive red colors. It has that navy blue stripe down the side, and then on the side panel, kind of has a designed on the fabric instead of another blue. The little gold to pair with the fox on the crest, I think looks super cool. But the reason why I rated this so low, and it goes back to my comments about preferring to have an ugly jersey than a plain jersey, I think this is very, very safe. It's very, very plain. And I think, like Randy said, I think they're not trying to call attention to the fact that they're back in the Premier League. I think they should have. They came to the Premier League. They did something that no other team has probably done before. They won the Premier League and then went back down after a couple of years, and they're back up. I think they should have made it a statement jersey. I think their crest could have been bigger. I think they could have done something different with the jersey where it's not so plain. Kind of like I just think Jamie Vardy, he's such a character. You want to have something that's going to piss people off a little bit. You know what I mean? Puff your chest and be a little ridiculous. But I think it's very safe, and I think they could have done more. So 19th.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think a lot of these jerseys fall victim to the Adidas. I hope that Adidas does switch their layout.
All right. Well, that is our rankings of the Premier League. We will post the 10 jerseys that we covered on this episode will be posted on our Instagram so you can follow along. And we will also post our rankings so that you know who has the best fashion sense.
Be honest. That's what we're here for. Let us know.
Just let us know who did best and let them know why it was me.
All right. So we have had some news with the transfer window. Obviously, we have a little bit of time to go. We have till the end of the month, about 20 days, a little over 2 weeks. But the season will start on the Friday, August 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern time with Manchester United opening it up against Fulham. But the teams are not done getting set yet. We have had some nice movement, a little bit more of what we've been expecting to happen this whole summer. So let's slightly touch on these. I want to open it up with the Circus. I'm sorry, Chelsea. They have signed another 20 players.
Chelsea Team A, Chelsea Team B, and Chelsea Team C.
And so yeah, they have surprising move. Kind of came out of nowhere, didn't it?
I don't know what's their logic behind these signings. Maybe they're preparing for injuries. It's good to have a backup, but it's good to have a backup for a backup for a backup for a backup. I don't know what it is. I mean, then again, when you have money, spend it, right? But spend it on something that makes sense.
They did sell, but with Pedro Neto, I mean, I know we were linked with him, but he also has injury history. And I think that's why some of us were hoping we didn't sign him because we were plagued with injuries last season. And why bring in someone who's not as reliable?
I think Spurs was the strongest link to Pedro Neto. And at the end, out of nowhere, like I said, overnight, Chelsea signed him. And, he kind of seems ecstatic to be there. And I'm wondering too, what this brings Michaela Mudryk to. He was brought on as a surprise. Well, not surprise. They kind of outpriced Arsenal out of grabbing him. And then he got that number 10 jersey. Huge expectations from him. Has not panned out. Now he's down the picking order, and now they have grabbed another winger that's going to take another spot, because I definitely would rate Pedro Neto above Mudryk. So what's his future going to look like? Is he going to try to move on? Would either of you take Mudryk on your team? If you guys were Arsenal, would you give him a second chance?
What I've heard is that they're trying to maybe sell Raheem Sterling, so I think that's another reason for it. So you're gonna have one less winger, but
I would take Mudryk. I think he's young. You saw some of what he can do. He wasn't as consistent with it, but I think the whole Chelsea team wasn't consistent, especially when, like Randy had mentioned, that they just have these managers come in and out. You don't have consistency in that position. That manager side of it. Why do you expect that from your players? So I don't think we've seen the best of him. If he wanted to come win a trophy, we'll take him on.
I would probably take him as well, but not for the price tag that was paid for him. I think he does have potential. Like you said, he is young, and I think he just needs a good coach, someone who's been there for a while, like a Jurgen or like a Pochettino. Yeah, he had Pochettino, but he wasn't there for the duration. How are you going to get better if every season you have a new coach? There's no consistency, so your game is always going to be like flustering because you're starting all over again. So for me, I feel like that's is what's preventing him from, reaching his potential. He needs stability.
Yeah, I mean, there were reasons why he was being scouted by everybody, so there is talent there. So
I agree. I think he needs some belief, and I think he can really pay that back. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I just feel like as a club, Arsenal have to move on. You either want to be part of this or you don't. And I do think that there was a conflict between the parent club that prevented his move to Arsenal, because Arsenal was not willing to budge on the already very high price that he had. I think at the end of the day, as a club, I think move on. I think it would do well at Arsenal, and I would take them if it were to happen. But next, thank you. Next. All right, so just quickly, we're going to move along. To Liverpool, they sold Carvalho, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I think he displayed some nice talent last season in the friendlies as well against Arsenal. I saw he looked pretty sharp, but maybe it was just an opportunity to kind of up that price, and they've let him go.
As a Liverpool fan, I was surprised by that. When I saw that he was sold, I had to check again. I thought it was more like a loan. To have him sold, I feel is a huge loss for Liverpool. He didn't have a good season, on loan, but then when he went to Hull City in the Championship, he was playing well, and then playing, the friendlies, he showed why we paid so much for him. But I guess we already have plenty of midfielders. We sold him for a good price, but I just felt like it was maybe way too soon. I think he only had a year under, and to sell him like that, I think is a huge loss for Liverpool, and I don't understand it, but I guess maybe they sold him to get some money for the rumored Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. I'm still not, sold on Carvalho being sold, especially with the potential and the fact that he was playing well. I think it's a big loss, honestly.
Well, you touched on Zubimendi. I think that's an interesting one that involves Arsenal as well. We were linked with Zubimendi for the past 2 seasons prior to the Declan Rice transfer. Fantastic number 6, but now we are in for Mikel Merino, who's a little bit more of a number 8. Real Sociedad now have a little bit of a dilemma on their hands. As far as I know, rumor has it that Arsenal, Mikel Merino, and Real Sociedad have agreed on 17 million for Mikel Merino with add-ons. I think that goes up to 25 mil. So they would be losing 2 of their midfields if they were to let both Subimendi and Mikel Merino go. So I think whoever gets the done deal first is going to end up with an extra midfielder. Whoever gets left behind might be empty-handed, because I don't know if they're going to be willing to lose both of the midfield players.
Or it's just going to be a higher price tag,
right,
on that second one.
And if you do lose both, you're not going to have that much time to find an adequate replacement for them in the transfer window. You only got like maybe 20 days left or so, but you'd probably want to invest more time researching, finding your proper replacements, and then doing like a panic buy just because you sold two midfielders.
United have also been rumored to have sealed the deal on both Daly and Mazarawi, both previous players under Ten Hag at Ajax, and now he's getting them back under his management at Manchester United. I think now with the injury to Lenny Yoro, that's super devastating considering the injuries that they had at the back last season, and now they are closing in on another two defensive players. I think they're doing what they need to do, and I think that's a fantastic move from United. Whatever the money is, I'm sure they have it. They're clearly not spending it on their stadium or their facilities. So
Oh yeah, let the waterfall come again. But I also think like that's because of the whole turmoil with Manchester United about they weren't sure if they were going to fire the head coach Erik ten Hagen. I feel like this is sort of like sorry, we messed up. We renewed your contract, gave you a couple more years, and because of these rumors that we were deciding your fate on the last game, we're trying to make it up to you. So we're giving this money to buy players.
So now let's move on to another, maybe not surprising move. There had been links, but it happens very, very quickly. Tottenham Hotspur have signed Solanke
Woohoo!
over from Bournemouth. They got the striker that they needed. Maybe not their top choice, but in my opinion, this is a fantastic move for both player and team.
It was actually a record fee that we paid, and I think it was a record selling fee for Bournemouth. Not my first choice. Where I'm afraid is he had one breakout season. He's 26, so I won't say he's young, but he's not old. He has time.
That's prime.
Yeah, he had a breakout season with Bournemouth, but he hasn't replicated that throughout his career. I mean, he was on Liverpool. I think he had one goal for them. Then again, he's gonna have a better cast around him here. Postecoglou did mention that that's the striker he wanted. He did emphasize when he signed Vicario over Raya was that Vicario wanted to be a Spurs. It's not that he wanted to leave. Well, yeah, Raya wanted to leave Brentford. Vicario wanted to come to Spurs. So I think that personality, plays into the decision to bring Solanke in. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does prove me wrong. I want him to succeed. He does have a hefty price tag, so he has to succeed. Postecoglou does say that there's still some more activity to come. So if that's the case, then I'm happy. I'm happy with the signing. We know we have a true striker. Hopefully, he pans out. But I'm nervous. I really am. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, money makes people nervous. I remember Liverpool did buy him. Jurgen Klopp did rate him highly. You're not going to replace Mo Salah, Mane, and Roberto Firmino when he was playing.
That is true.
It was just being on the team at the wrong time. But if people do rate him highly, but like you said, it was just that one season.
One season.
So we got to
Right.
see if he can continue it. But the thing is, he's proven in the Premier League.
Being 26, you're basically in your prime, if not almost there. In my opinion, yes, this was a breakout season for him this past season. I think that's just the kind of level that he can perform at the highest. And being 26, I think he can replicate that. Who knows? Maybe not next season. He doesn't have a ton of time before the season starts to kind of get that chemistry going with Spurs. But I think he'll build into that season. I think he can perform even better with a team like Spurs that plays that high line, high pressure.
High on the table.
I don't know about that one, but I think with a team that has the ball more often, there's going to be two things that he's going to come across. He's going to play against teams that are going to sit back now, low blocks, and absorbing that pressure. But at the same time, he's going to have a few more chances to kind of take a shot on goal. So he has a chance to kind of make a name for himself at Spurs,
Yeah.
even though he is an Arsenal fan. And I'm hoping if it comes down to it at the end of the season where we need Spurs to do us another favor, that as an Arsenal fan, he will actually get that goal that's gonna push the title in Arsenal's favor.
Sorry. He wears that blue and white now. I like the fact that he didn't score his goals in Serie A and then a different league. He did it against Premier League defenses and Premier League goalkeepers. The physicality and the game play is different in this league. So the fact that he was able to score that many goals within that one season, being proven that he can do that in this league, does
It goes a long way.
that's what kind of relax. It does go a long way, and because you bring out, you bring players from other leagues and strikers from other leagues who score X amount of goals, and then they come here and they realize that the tempo, the physicality is a lot different. But I mean, he did it, so that's what helps me sleep at night.
Spurs before they used to buy like all these the foreign players. I think they bought these players from Spain. They were good scorers when they were in their league. It was so much different. The intensity, the physicality and all that stuff. It didn't benefit them. And so, yes, they were scoring goals in Spain but it didn't carry over. So I think it's a safe bet to pick a striker that's been in the Premier League. So you know what you're getting.
Well, let's see. Let's hope it doesn't pay off. Let's go to predictions, and this is what we're gonna hold each other to at the end of the season. So I want you guys to be confident in your decision. So the first thing, just to get it out of the way, let's talk about relegation.
It's going to be similar to last year, where the three promoted teams, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to have what it takes to stay on top and continue next season, the following season. So Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester. I think Leicester might make a push for it. They might be the top of those three. Who knows? They might battle it out with that team that's right outside that zone. But I think ultimately it's going to be those three.
I agree with Alan, but except I have Nottingham Forest over Leicester. Ipswich Town and Southampton, I believe, are going to go back down, sadly. But yeah, I put Nottingham Forest instead of Leicester. They were teetering on it. They were saved by, I believe, by other matches, but they were basically on the edge of relegation, and I think that will carry over and they will get relegated this season.
I put down two of the newly promoted teams. Ipswich, I think, is going down. I think they had a, a wonderful run at coming back to the Premier League, but I don't think they're going to be able to hold up to the level that the teams have now. So Ipswich is going down, probably bottom of the table for me. Southampton will also go down. However, I do think that they'll give it a fight. I think they'll be the one with the highest points in that relegation zone. And I think, unfortunately, Forest is not going to make it this season. I think they barely made it, and I think they're going to be the second to last team to go down.
To me, one of the deciding factors could be what Steve Cooper can do with that Leicester team.
I mean, they still got Vardy. There's only so much he can do now. He's getting up in age. Chugging those Red Bulls ain't going to be helping him that much anymore.
Careful what you say. He does listen to this podcast.
Prove me wrong then, because I don't have him on relegation. Alan does.
He's going to come knock on your door.
Please do. I can get an autograph. Make sure he brings me that cool Leicester shirt.
I can fight an old man.
All right. So who wants to start with top 6 predictions?
Let's go from the 6 up. In 6th place, I have Aston Villa. I think they're teetering. I think they'll continue to be battling for the top 4, but I believe they're going to make 6. And as a surprise, at number 5, Manchester United. They bought a lot of good players, and I think they will manage to get 5th place, maybe have a last-minute push and get themselves into Europe somehow. And for Champions League, Alan will probably like this. I got him and his Spurs reaching 4th. And then from then on, I believe it's probably going to be the same with everyone else. I got Liverpool at 3. They still got the core team, a new coach. I don't think much has changed. I believe they'll still challenge. And then you got Arsenal at 2 and Man City at 1. Those are my top 6.
I'm blocking you. Hold on, I'm blocking you on Instagram right now. Block. You know what? Considering how many players they have, I think Chelsea are going to make top 6 this season. I think they ended up doing better than Manchester United last season, and now they have a different coach that isn't, one of these coaches that was kind of rumored to kind of come before it was signed. I think this is a low-key manager that's going to end up kind of sorting a lot of their wrongs from last season, and I think they'll push. I think they might have a slow start, and I think at the end of the season, just like this past season, I think they're going to end up climbing up the table as other teams kind of end up struggling towards the end. At 5th, I have United. Manchester United has made some decent moves, especially with the last 2. I think Ten Hag now, he's had the front office kind of put a little more trust in him, a little more belief. I think that's going to help him push the team. At 4, I have Tottenham Hotspur. They almost got top 4 last season. They've made some signings, including Solanke, that are going to push them over the edge and onto the top 4. At 3, Liverpool again. I think from what I've seen, they haven't changed much to their system. They're set as a team as far as who they have on their list, and I think that's gonna keep them up there. At number 2, I have to do it. Third time lucky. I think Manchester City are gonna finish second to Arsenal this season. You know what? I have to for once
Here he comes.
put trust in the team, put trust in Arteta, and I have to believe. I've always been so hesitant to say it and kind of ruin it, but you know what? It's now or never. I think if we don't get it this season, the season after that, it's going to be where do we go from here? So I think we will bring something home this season, whether that's an FA Cup, Carabao. I don't think it's Champions League. So, but I think we'll make the best push on the Premier League side. I think this is our year, and I think we're gonna get it.
So you're right cementing it. Arsenal's winning the league.
I'm writing
Right
it
now.
down.
Writing down.
Write
Yeah,
it
you should
down.
get a tattoo.
Permanent
Get a
Sharpie.
tattoo.
Get a tattoo.
Get a
Arsenal
tattoo.
League
You
winners.
believe in yourself. Get it. Get it tatted.
2025. There you go. Go ahead.
I'll get one that says champions, but not the year. So when we do
No,
win
the
it.
year has to be, the year has to
Not
be
the
the
year.
biggest part.
All right. Who's next?
Well, I guess let's see what Alan says. Maybe his is gonna be tattoo worthy as well.
Tottenham, top 4, 2024, 2025.
All right. I did consider Chelsea and Man United, but I think they're going to fall short. I think Chelsea, if they would have continued with Poche, I think I would have put him on this list. You just have that continuity. That team, I feel like he turned that team around, and if he would have stayed there, I think he would have been able to progress with them. But I know this is not about the NFL, but I've seen too many times in the NFL where it's constantly head coaches changing, and the same thing with the Premier League. You have just these coaches just in and out, different systems. Everybody's relearning everything, and I think they'll have a push towards mid-season. I think that's where they'll start firing on all cylinders, but I think it's gonna be a little too late again. Next season might be a different thing. Man United, I think they're already suffering injuries. To me, you guys praised Eric Ten Hag a bit. I don't think he's the one for them. I don't think he's the answer. They should have let him. They should have sacked him. But so for my 6, I actually have Newcastle coming in at 6. They were plagued with injuries. I think they were finally starting playing European football. They got a lot, and they were playing a lot of players out of position from what I remember. So I think this season, although they didn't make too many changes, I think they'll make a run for 6 finally. I have Aston Villa at 5th. They're a little bit lower than they were last year. Last season, I think they finished when they finished 4th. I think this season they'll finish 5th. And then here we go, top 4. So at number 4, I have Liverpool. Just like with any other managerial changes, I think Slot, I don't know whether to fall with him. I don't know how he's going to do in the Premier League. Preseason is nothing to really go based off of. Liverpool has always had a good scouting. They could scout players, so I'm sure their front office did a good job scouting him. I'm putting them 4th for now, but I think they might end up higher. I hope they don't. And at 3rd, I have Arsenal.
3rd?
It's a disgrace.
I think Arsenal has reached the top. It's my prediction. I'm going to do whatever I want. I think they're going to be 3rd, and I think they're not going to be able to repeat that. I think last season was it.
That's their ceiling.
I think that was their ceiling. Players aren't getting any younger. You did fortify that defense, but was that really what you needed?
I think when it came down to fine margins, you either got to strengthen one or the other.
Yeah.
So, but I respectfully disagree, obviously. But we'll talk after this podcast.
Nah, we won't. Don't worry, we won't.
I'll meet you at the flagpole by the swings.
Don't worry. And then 2nd is our favorite, Spurs.
No way.
Okay,
Why?
he's
No
getting a
way.
tattoo. You got to get a
It's-
tattoo for 2nd place because let's be honest, this is
I didn't say we're
fantasy.
winning.
It's even 2nd place is too high for them. But go ahead, it's your
What?
decision. Go continue with your.
We lost players to 2 different tournaments, plagued with injuries. I think we were one of the top 3 teams with the amount of injuries, more than Arsenal, more than Liverpool. If we can get firing on all cylinders, we can make a legitimate title race.
That's a big if.
It's a big if.
It's not a big if. It's not a big if. I think we can do it. And this is the 2nd year with Ange. Everybody's has been playing his system for this long now. I think they're getting it down better.
For
I think
saying a lot of one season this, one season that, you don't think this could have been a one season for Tottenham?
nope.
Okay.
This is
Maybe that was their ceiling under him.
So you're trusting the process.
yeah. I'm trusting the process. You guys get how long have you trusted the process with Arteta?
Hey, we won a cup. I'm just saying, we won a cup.
Oh, this is our second season. Give us time. No, that's what we never get. We never get time. We never get.
Whose fault's that?
I know.
Levy's.
Yeah, I think if he's still there,
Well, he has no patience. Arteta was doing bad. Jurgen, we won our trophy. I think in the 4th or 5th year. You're not letting him. He fired Mourinho the day before the finale.
he would have wanted something for you guys.
But that's different. That's different now because Ange has won more games his first season than Klopp and Arteta won their first season.
Just because you just started off great doesn't mean it's going to carry over. We'll see. But continue.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll take Liverpool off the top. I legitimately think if we're firing on all cylinders and we can keep it, we're winning the league. But that's why. But then again, I have Man City first because they always manage.
Yeah. I think this is
Honestly, you know what? I put Man City first because I worked the list from top to bottom, then bottom up. And I was like, what can I switch around? Man City's only made one change so far, and they barely won the league. And I don't think with the changes they made, because I don't remember them having too many injuries. I don't remember. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, he was out for a good amount.
but he's older.
Exactly. I don't think their claim to first is very
Strong.
secure. No.
And they sold Julian Alvarez, which I think is a big loss.
That's why I think the title race is going to be, it's there to claim. When I say top, I know I put us second and Arsenal third and Liverpool fourth. I mean, I think the margins are going to be so tight on those, I think.
So you said Tottenham second?
Oh, yeah.
You heard it here.
That's bold, but okay.
How's it bold
Okay.
at second?
That's higher than what everyone else was thinking.
Yeah, because you guys picked Newcastle as the number one home kid.
What do you mean you guys? One person.
Trust me.
All right, well, this got pretty heated. So let's move on to another set of predictions that we are going to hold each other to. But this one's going to be a little bit more fun.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Just to explain to everybody, we are going to be doing a little league that we are going to run within the podcast. So the way that the game is going to work is each of us are going to predict the winner and the score of the games of each of our teams. So I will predict the upcoming game for the Arsenal. Randy will predict for Liverpool, and Alan will predict for Tottenham. The way we're going to rank our league positions is whoever takes the guess, gets the correct winner, and gets the correct score line, you will get 3 points. If you guess the winner, but you do not guess the score, you will get 1 point. If you get both wrong, you get 0 points. We're also going to pick one highlight game for every match week, and we're also going to predict that as bonus points. And the same scenario, if we get both the score and the winner right, you'll get 3 points. If you guess just the winner, 1 point. If you get both wrong, 0 points. In the scenario that the highlight game includes one of our teams, our prediction will count as double points. So this way we keep it nice and fair and everybody gets a chance at bonus points. So let's look into match week 1 now. So the first game that we're going to look into is Ipswich Town versus Liverpool on Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, bright and early. Randy, what's your outcome for this game?
Well, I think it's going to be a rude awakening for Ipswich. Even though they're home, I just think Liverpool is going to be way too much for them. And I am going to say it's going to be a 3-0 win, Liverpool. And I just think it's going to be a sad day for Ipswich. 3-0.
I will say this will be a fun one because teams that are recently promoted, they're opening up at home. The crowd's going to be behind them. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be ready to push and, super excited to play at the top level of the Premier League. Let's move on to the next game. This will be on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I will probably be at the pub watching this. It'll be Arsenal versus Wolves. Wolves it's a great team. They've been playing well in this preseason, but they have lost Pedro Neto, which was probably one of their best players. So, and Arsenal, we have a system that everyone's been working into. We solidified the defense. So I'm going to say this is going to be a not comfortable, but solid 2-0 win.
I mean, I think it's going to be 1-1, but hey.
Well, you're the one who has Spurs in second.
Yeah, because I'm smart.
Let's see how you look against Leicester City.
Let's see, Leicester City at home. This is going to be on Monday, so it's going to be a weekday game, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Alan?
To start off the season, I know how it's going to end up. That 45-minute, halftime whistle's going to blow, and Leicester are going to be up 1. So it's going to be 1-0 halftime, but Spurs, and we'll end up finishing the game 3-1 with that victory.
Of course, Tottenham coming from behind.
Like you said, it's that they're coming up, their return. They're going to be high intensity, high energetic. Fans are probably they're going to play a role in it. But I think we're just going to be too much in the end, and it's just going to be an indicator of how the rest of the season's going to go. Undefeated.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you'll probably lose to Ipswich.
Yeah.
Probably.
But be Man City.
Yeah, exactly. Typical.
The highlight game is this Sunday, August 18th at 11:30 p.m. 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. It is Chelsea at home versus Manchester City. Chelsea predicted to play a 4-4-4 formation with 2 goalkeepers. And so we'll see if they can hold up the current champions, Manchester City. They had a couple good games last season against City. Even there was like a fun 3-3. I remember watching that. They might be able to do something similar. However, I still think that Manchester City are going to come out on top. So I'm going to say Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1.
I believe since it's Chelsea, they're playing at home against Manchester City. It's going to be a draw. I just think Chelsea are still trying to figure themselves out. So I think they might be able to score, but I believe it will be a 2-2 draw game.
Man City starting 11 versus Chelsea starting 38. I think I'm going to go 2-1 on this one. Man City taking the victory. Like you said, just Chelsea getting organized with everything, and they're seeing what their best lineup will be. I don't know. Like I said, I think they're going to have a slow start to the season. So I think that's going to show here in this game.
Well, there you have it. So those are our predictions. Again, this is going to give us a few points when we get some of the predictions right. And we will tally all these points up throughout the season. And at the end of the season, whoever has the highest points will win the league. And maybe next episode, we could decide what the price of that will be.
How about a punishment?
Yeah, maybe a punishment. If you guys have any ideas, please go to our Instagram, comment. You can also comment on Spotify and Apple. This is a good place to wrap up. I'm so excited to get the season underway, watch my team, and you guys ready to close out?
Yeah, let's go.
Yep, let's do it.
On the one last thing though, I just want to make sure everybody knows that last season I called that we would finish at least 4th. We finished 5th. So and nobody believed me, so do yourself a favor and believe me today.
All right, so we are officially at time. Thank you so much for joining us again on our 4th episode. Let us know what you guys think about the ranking of our jerseys. Obviously, we'll be posting the jerseys on our Instagram page, so you can follow along to the ones we've rated. Very excited to get the season underway. So next episode, we will be covering the match week highlights, our predicted outcomes, and see where we are on the table. Thank you so much. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I'm Pat.
I'm Randy.
It's Alan.
Bye.
See ya.